You've been on the job for over a year now, and all in all, you must say it's a good job. That is until last month when the nagging from your boss started regarding your returning to the office. When originally hired, your position was advertised as a remote position with reporting to the office on a periodic basis. However, any such requirements would be discussed with you at the interview. Your interview occurred during the COVID pandemic, and no mention was made about reporting to the office. In fact, your manager to be said you'd never need to report to the office for this position since COVID will never go away, were their words. But now things have changed, and the boss has been telling you that you and others that live in the local area should return to the office. Camaraderie is suffering. Work doesn't seem to be getting done on time. People need to interact face-to-face to get things done immediately. These are the savory tidbits, the not-so-subtle hints being dropped by the boss. Notwithstanding, you notice that the company continues to hire people from all over the United States and allows these folk to work remotely. So, it's only the local employees being barraged with guilt to return to the office. You've been thinking lately of moving across the country and becoming one of those remote workers not required to return to the office daily. The requests from the boss are increasing, and you're unsure how to navigate this prickly situation. Guilt tripping. It's an old game that seems to always have a new spin for its user by the game master. The game master always seems to get their way in the end. So, some would argue the game has already been lost by the unknowing players once the game master begins. On the other hand, you know from your training with the Stoicess that the game master will become the ultimate loser as time passes and the players leave one by one. For you know that your boss is making guilt-inducing statements to make you feel bad about how you are acting. It's a ploy for your boss to get what they want by allowing you to do the demeaning of yourself, while your boss takes the position of entitlement and innocence from any wrongdoing. You begin to question your Christianity, your self-dignity, and see yourself as not being a team player willing to help others. You want to fight back, but as you contemplate your next move, you begin to see yourself acting selfishly. Furthermore, if you stand your ground and the boss treats you more poorly, you'll likely become accepting of the outcome, even your subsequent dismissal, as being your fault for not putting others' needs ahead of your own. However, the ultimate truth of the matter is that your placement of boundaries in your relationship with the boss allows you to protect the relationship from contamination. Resentment, emotional distance, distrust, feelings of unfair dealing, all of these poisons or pollutants are removed from your employee-employer relationship by you setting your boundaries. In turn, you feel safe and know you can truly engage with the boss without fear of any reprisal. Thus, you're setting boundaries and enforcing those boundaries is an act of wisdom on your part and not an act of insubordination. So, when your boss is trying to manipulate you with the guilt trip game, you keep your response short without further explanation. The phrase, "no thank you," seems most appropriate, and you say these words without feeling any guilt or remorse. If the boss subsequently presses you with the why question, you respond by saying, "I'm protecting our relationship by being truthful with one another as we always are." And if the boss doesn't buy into this response, well, what you say next doesn't really matter, because it's time to apply for other jobs and move on. The trusting relationship between you and the boss have been tainted, and their poor behavior will likely intensify. Now, using my Stoic storytelling method. I work remotely, but my boss is making me feel guilty to come into the office. Should I go? We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. Epictetus. By his good conduct let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. Book of James. I will tell my boss, no thank you for their suggestion. I realized I needed to preserve my boundaries with my boss in order to protect our good relationship. The character trait I improved was enforcing my boundaries when needed with those I associate with. Thank you for sharing your mind with me. For your continued success, hear my secret. As the guilt-tripping games are played by the one who accuses, enforce your boundaries so no one loses. Now relax, control your mind, and be as you wish to seem, empowered. Remember, it's the situation keeping my connection with him. I'm Lori Stith, the Stoicess, and I believe in you. If you like what you mentally now see, join my website to learn and think like me at stoicmatchmaker.com.